the Chief Bill into the conversation, but I wanted to ask you, and I think this is really important. You guys work with the police in in some of the programs you do. You work with foundations. Yes. You've been in the August Wilson Cultural Center. I want you to talk real honestly about the successes, or what I would call the triumphs, right, and really the pitfalls. Yeah. When somebody is trying to say, you know what, I want to change my community, I want to be involved, I'm going to take a proactive stance. Like, what are some of the problems that you've encountered, trying to do this work?
Well, the first thing is, and I would encourage, like, if anybody, a good friend of mine is founder of Occupy the Hood. His name is Malik Rasan. And his new slogan, y'all know, his new slogan is do some-ish. Do something. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when we started One Hood, like, our idea wasn't to get, like, to become a nonprofit or get funding. Like, that wasn't in our mind. Right. We just wanted to go out and do something. So we went out and started to do things in the community, like, with just on our own, volunteering with no budget. And how we got the relationship with the foundations is they saw us always in the community, always working with our young people, and having success with no budget. Right. So then they began to say, well, man, is there a way, can we talk to y'all? Can we, because they were giving money to a lot of non-for-profits and they weren't getting any results. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I would just encourage you, if you have an idea or something you want to do, don't wait to, like, write a grant, like, just start doing it. You know what I'm saying? Start getting those results. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. Thank you. Secondly, once we began to have success in the community, the police said they wanted to meet with us. You know what I'm saying? They said, well, we would like to meet with you all. And we said, sure. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I mean, we didn't have any issue with that. And they basically said, okay, well, we would like you all to help us help the community cooperate more with the police. We said, okay, that's fine. What we would like you to do is help, compel officers to testify against other officers, or to point out other officers when they do crimes in our community. The Malcolm X grassroots movement did a report in 2012 that basically said every 36 hours a black person is killed by the police, somebody saying, a security guard, or something to that effect. One every 36 hours. So these are real issues. But when we asked the police if they could do that, they said, no, we can't do that. And so we saw immediately, like, it's a one-sided relationship. Like, you want us to cooperate with you, but you don't want to cooperate with us. And so when we have issues or incidences of police, this is the thing, like, everybody makes mistakes, one. You know what I'm saying? Policing is a highly stressful job. And so to act like, to think that you're going to do that all the time and you might not make a mistake, that's really ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Right. But what happens is when the police do things, and we had a case in Pittsburgh of a young man named Jordan Miles, an honor student, who was walking to his grandmother's house. Three undercover officers jumped out. He's not in the streets. He's an honor student. He thinks he's being robbed. He runs. They catch him. They beat him to a point where he was unrecognizable by his own mother. They ripped his dreadlocks out of his hair. He didn't, of course, have any weapons, anything on him. And then the response was, we followed our training. We did nothing wrong. They said that a neighbor called them. The neighbor got on the stands and said, I didn't call the police. But there's never any, like, if you say, you know what, our officers made a mistake, you know what I'm saying? We were in the wrong. What can we do to repair this relationship? Now that's something that's like, now we can genuinely talk now. Now we can say, we can have forgiveness and reconciliation and atonement, but that's what we don't see. Right. We don't see this admission of them unless it's on videotape, and then even then sometimes. If it's on videotape, and it's never like an admission of, you know what, we did make a mistake. How can we repair this community relationship? It's more so, no, we didn't do anything. We're covered down on one another. You know what I'm saying? If an officer, they always were talking to us like, what's up with this stop snitching? And we would always be like, well, I mean, come on, the blue wall of silence, like, like, there's no, cops don't talk about one another, and that's looked at if a cop testifies against one another, he's ostracized. So why would you talk about our community doing that if that's a practice that you do? You know what I'm saying? And so that's, to me, the kind of the wall we hit. Right. And it's upsetting because, in Pittsburgh we had a black police chief, and he was a good person. You know what I'm saying? He was a good man, but the system around him
Right.
And this is what we had a problem with. And so, like I said, a lot of times when you begin to get up into those systems, you know, and it's like, you know, now I'm a target or I'm a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to have a relationship based on truth, justice, and fairness. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate somebody that's, you know, that's a police officer. Like that would be ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the job that you take. You know what I'm saying? Or an individual person. All I want to see is a more peaceful, loving, less violent relationship between us, and something where we can have that conversation. Like you said, where we can really talk and have a genuine conversation. If we don't have that, then it's always going to be something adversarial. And then we'll, you know, so you always find yourself saying, like, you know, another incident happens. Another young, you know, I was just in Oakland, California. And I'll end with this. 3 young black men were outside of a restaurant. A call comes on the radio that 3 young black men robbed somebody. These young men weren't doing anything wrong. One of them gets shot in the face by a police officer. He's unarmed. You know what I'm saying? And so now this is a big thing. Thankfully, he lived. You know what I'm saying? But now, if we don't, if the process isn't to take that officer at least off the street and really begin to say, like, if somebody is doing something like this, he shouldn't be, you know, a part of. I feel like the people who should be against police brutality most is the police. Because it's like, it makes your job harder and it makes you look bad. But if those that brutalize or do things like that are protected, you know what I'm saying, are covered down for, or just transferred, and sometimes promoted, then what does that say to us? And then when you come and say you want a real relationship, I would say that's not truthful. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's start it on truth, let's start on justice, let's start on fairness, and now I think we can really have, so this is a good opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to have the chief here, and the fact that you came, I commend you for coming.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But so this could be a bright beginning, and it could lead to a real relationship, and let Dayton be the leader in how this powerful relationship could work, you know what I'm saying, in terms of it being based on truth, justice, and fairness.
We didn't talk about your music, but I guess...
Album, Ascension, iTunes, Amazon, cop it, let me know what you think.
Okay.
So many walk the earth's surface and they don't know their purpose, not sure of their future, so they walk around nervous. And the schools don't teach them, man, that's such a disservice. And they treat us like garbage cause we come from where the dirt is, and we wear t-shirts of our friends that got murdered, and we live with the killers and nobody trying to heal us. And they wonder why we walk around with guns and conceal them, and the adults are scared so they run from their children. They can try to be positive but we ain't gonna feel them if they speaking cliches and don't come with the realness. This is life and it's hard, and so many don't make it. Where's the light, where's the God in this industry of fiction? Can you tell me how to make it out this maze of depression in this very cold world where they prey on the naked by way of deception and play with aggression when we always got punished but never gave correction? So close to the edge with my toes on the ledge, looking over like what happens to your soul when you're dead. And I close my eyes and jump like I know I regret, but I didn't fall, I started floating instead. So close to the edge with my toes on the ledge, looking over like what happens to your soul when you're dead. And I close my eyes and jump like I know I regret, but I didn't fall, I started floating instead. Living life in the clouds, the sun is looking so bright to me now, like a kite from the ground. Come look at all this light that I found. living life in the clouds. The sun is looking so bright to me now, like a kite from the ground. Come look at all this light that I found. I had a conversation with God in a dream. He told me that my trials weren't as hard as they seem. If life's a movie, they were just part of a scene. But by the end credits, I will have the heart of a king. And the lies and the pain and the hurt and the tears should be celebrated like it was the first of the year. That people don't know who they are, cause they searching in fear. Then he pointed at my chest and said the church wasn't here. And I woke up in a sweat, but my mind was so clear. And I felt so light like I could fly through the air. No burdens, no stress, no anger, no sadness. A bulletproof vest for all the danger and the madness. Revelation came in the form of a message that I am God too if I was born of his essence. And what I thought was tragic was more than a blessing in the shadow of death. But the Lord's my shepherd, I'll rise. Living life in the clouds. The sun is looking so bright to me now, like a kite from the ground. Come look at all this light that I found. Living life in the clouds. The sun is looking so bright to me now, like a kite from the ground. Come look at all this light that I found.